Malaysia needs to overcome the fear of the unknown if it is to embrace the terms of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is set to be debated in Parliament early next year. That is the view of our next guest, Sufyan Jusso, Senior Fellow at the Institute of Malaysian and International Studies at UKM, who joins me now on set. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting.
A lot of debate around the TPP, but in a recent piece that you wrote, ultimately, we are a trading nation, and it really is the crux of a lot of human civilization. So do we need to get over this hurdle and embrace the future?
That's true. I think we have to live with it. We have been a trading nation, and we will continue to be a trading nation. I don't think there's anything to fear about. It's a new challenge. It's the highest standard agreement, probably the highest standard of a trade agreement so far. But the terms and the conditions are almost the same, with some enhancement in the middle of the terms. If we read the text of the agreement, there's nothing to be feared about. So my main concern is there are a lot of misinformation going around. People are still talking about something which is not in the text. So we have to read the text. We have to understand that we have been a trading nation, and we will continue to be a trading nation.
So Sufyan, in your view then, what are those issues that are being misinformed about currently in the public space?
There are several issues which are being debated again and again. One is the investor-state dispute settlement. We have had more than 70 bilateral investment treaties. We had this in the ASEAN-Australia Free Trade Agreement. And so far, we are not facing any issues, because so long as you are transparent, the government works very well, and the government follows the rules, you're not going to get it. So I think we have nothing to fear about, except the fact that somebody is building up the flame. Another issue which I think is being misled is the price of medicine. People do not understand the difference between generic and biologics. What has happened now is in the TPP, the data exclusivity between 5 to 8 years is for biologics. Biologics is involving living organisms, which is a new and inventive way of solving health issues. If we don't provide data exclusivity and patent protection for biologics, then we are going to face a problem, because they are not those biologic medications will not be in the first place. So instead of fearing about the price, we have to fear whether we are going to have access to those medications. Because if we don't provide access, we don't provide protections, they will not sell it to us. That's an issue. And we need investment in this field, in biotechnology and biologics.
Now, practically speaking, Sufyan, looking at the ratification and eventual implementation of the TPP framework, what are you anticipating as a timeline, and what kind of measures need to be taken to ensure that we are fully prepared?
We have a few months to go. I was with the minister a few days back. Parliament will sit a special session in January, at the end of January, and I think the government will sign it by February or March. This is my prediction, immediately upon the debate in Parliament. And then we have 2 years between 2016, from 2016 to ratify the agreement. And it will probably be Project 2020 for me. Between 2018 to 2020, we have time to prepare ourselves. Some chapters give a lot of leeway, say government procurement, for example. We have the highest threshold for construction, and it gives like 20 years before the threshold being reduced substantially. And now it's about building capacity, providing information, and getting information about market access. So we need to learn about the other 11 countries and those newcomers like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Thailand. So we need to prepare ourselves. The government need to prepare about regulatory coherence. The system has to be well implemented from federal to sub-federal down to the local government. We need to have human resources, not just in the government, but also in the private sector.
Given that you see it as a Project 2020, which chapter do you believe would cause the biggest headache in terms of implementation?
government procurement and state-owned enterprise. These are the two major issues because we are not a member of the WTO government procurement agreement. So this is a new stuff for us. It's not in ASEAN. And state-owned enterprise because we have to start preparing our state-owned enterprise to be in line with commercial practice. And these are two new issues.
All right, thank you so much, Sufian, for shedding some light on the matter. A pleasure having you around the table today. That was Sufian Jusso, Senior Fellow from the Institute of Malaysian and International Studies at UKM.